You know, lately I've been super interested in watches, and I realized something. Seiko's reputation for building high-quality timepieces while being affordable is similar to what Honda is doing with this, the 2024 Honda Brio RS. Alright, so starting from the front, you're immediately greeted with this stellar paint job called Stellar Diamond Pearl. And from a nerd perspective, I mean, it looks like a Gundam to me because of these LED headlights, this blacked out RS grille, and to be honest, para saan, sobrang pogi na nito eh. Alright, so from the side, it still looks like a typical hatchback, but it is differentiated with this character line that continues the Gundam-like styling from the front. Okay, so down the side, you get these RS-specific side skirts and these two-tone 15-inch alloy wheels wrapped in 185/55 series tires. Alright, so from the back, I can't help but notice that these taillights look eerily similar to the Subaru BRZs, but just a little bit more stretched. Aside from that, I like the spoiler with this third brake light and this RS badge to let everyone know that you're driving the top-of-the-line model. And lastly, this diffuser because RS. Alright, so for the storage, you get 258 liters when the seats are up, but you get 851 liters when the seats are down. Alright, so going inside the Honda Brio, you are surrounded with black hard plastic everywhere, but your eyes do gravitate toward these red accents that do not continue at the passenger side for some reason. Aside from that, you get this 7-inch infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You get this digital aircon display, this 12-volt socket right here, and oddly enough, for a 2024 model, you get this shifter from a Jazz GE that's more than a decade old. Alright, so from the back, I have to commend Honda for this because as little as this hatchback is, you get this very expansive legroom. Aside from that, you get this single cup holder and more hard scratchy plastics, and there's really not much more to say. It's a back seat. So under the hood, you have this 1.2-liter engine with about 90 horsepower and 110 Nm of torque, mated to a CVT. For fuel economy, you get about 13 to 14 to the city and 18 to 19 to the highway. So for a full tank of gas at current gas prices, it's about 1,600 pesos. And enough about that, let's go for a drive. Alright, so now we're driving the 2024 Honda Brio RS. And let's get into it. So performance-wise, you get a 1.2-liter engine with 90 horsepower and 110 Nm of torque. You really don't get much out of it since it is for economy, but you do get a little bit of power at 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. It kind of goes, but after that, it loses its breath really quickly. But 80 to 100, it gets there, but it takes an eternity. The seats here are pretty good. You get cloth seats, but you get a lot of bolstering. I drove this around for 3 hours straight. I didn't really get any back problems or bottom problems. So yeah, it's pretty good. I just wish they used a more premium material because all of this is just cloth, which I actually didn't expect because this is a top-of-the-line model. This is the RS model. So I expected more for the seats, the materials, but other than that, I really don't have anything bad to say about it. The ride though is pretty good at lower speeds, but at higher speeds, when you get to about 100, 120, when you get to the bumps, you really feel it, and it kind of gets sketchy because sometimes when you corner, the steering loses its responsiveness and it just feels numb. It feels like there's a dead zone in the middle. One thing I love about this car, or just Honda cars in general, is their brakes. The brake pressure feels consistent at all pressures. It doesn't feel grabby, but you really feel the brakes braking at any kind of pressure, which is good because sometimes there might be a sudden stop in front of you. It doesn't unsettle the car. It grabs, but it does it in a smooth way. I think this is geared towards the lolos, to be honest. It feels like a modern old car in a good way. because you really don't get much. You really just have what you need right in front of you. You don't get any fancy schmancy features or whatever. It's just very straightforward. And I feel like the lolos would really love this because it really reminds me of my lolo's old Toyota Corolla big body. Because it's just there. It gets you from point A to point B in a pretty comfortable manner. But for the price of 863,000 pesos, I think there's a lot more options you could be going for, especially the Chinese cars right now. They're really tempting because the technology they have is way more than the Japanese cars. But don't count this little Honda out because, again, you get that sense of security, reliability. You know that it's a Honda. To top it all off, at 863,000 pesos, the 2024 Honda Brio RS sits at the higher end of the hatchback segment. Many of its rivals offer more for less. But what you do get from the Brio RS is its fuel economy and the sense of security that this is a Honda. Just like a Seiko, you can never go wrong with this little Gundam. Did you enjoy this review? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more. I'm Patrick Maliksi. This is my first time hosting a car review, so hopefully you enjoyed it and I'll see you again next time.